Now let's consider the rights granted by our dear Prophet to women 1400 years back. The Prophet taught us on the basis of the Holy Quran. وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا أَوْلَادَكُمْ خَشْيَةَ إِمْلَاقٍ نَحْنُ نَرْزُقُهُمْ وَإِيَّاكُمْ إِنَّ قَتْلَهُمْ كَانَ خِطْوًا كَبِيرًا. Kill not your children for fear of want. We shall provide sustenance for them as well as for you. Verily, the killing of them is a great sin. The great Prophet taught us on the basis of the Quran that women have got right to get education. They have got right to earn, right to work, right to inherit property, right either to accept or refuse a marriage proposal, right to get gift as well as wealth at the time of marriage, right to oppose the rude behavior of their husband, right to get divorced as well as right to remarry. That is why Dr. Annie Besant said, I often believe that women in Islam is more free than in Christianity. Women is more protected by Islam than by the religion that preaches monogamy. The law regarding women in the Holy Quran is more just and liberal, and it is slanted to say that Islam preaches that women have no soul. Our great Prophet taught equality of man long ago, before any nation even dreamt of including that in their constitution. We have seen a lot of conflicts on the basis of creed, race and color. During the Second World War, the cruel dictator Hitler massacred millions of Jews on the basis of race and religion. Recently we saw the massacre of innocent Muslim men, women and children by Orthodox Christian Serbs. But 1400 years back, the Holy Quran said, O mankind, you have been created from one man and woman. You have been differentiated into nations and tribes only to know each other. The person who is near to God is one who is righteous. Speaking at his farewell address, the great Prophet said, no Arab is greater than a non-Arab. A non-Arab is not greater than an Arab. A black man is not greater than a white man. A white man is not greater than a black man. The Prophet taught equality of law long before any man could even dream about that. The Holy Quran says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kunu kadhamina bil qisti shuhadaha lillah walau ala anfusikum aw walidaini wal akrabin in yakun ghaniyan aw fakiran fallahu awla bihima fala tatabbi'ul hawa an ta'dilu. O you who believe, stand out firmly for justice as witnesses to Allah, even as against yourself or your parents or your kin, and whether it be against rich or poor. With this proclamation, equality before law was proclaimed by our dear Prophet 1400 years back on the basis of the Holy Quran. The great Prophet also taught us on the basis of the Holy Quran that you should not compel anybody to accept Islam. The Quran says, La ikraha fid deen kad tabayyana ar-rushdu min al-ghayy. There is no compulsion in religion. Right and wrong stands apart. People have got freedom either to accept truth or to reject it. So we can never compel any person to accept Islam. The Prophet also opposed communal hatred. The Prophet said, لَيْسَ مِنَّا مَنْ دَعَا إِلَىٰ أَصَبِيَّةٍ وَقَاتَلَ إِلَىٰ أَصَبِيَّةٍ وَمَاتَ إِلَىٰ أَصَبِيَّةٍ. Those who invite others to communal hatred, kill for communal hatred, and die for communal hatred do not belong to us. The Prophet also defined what is communal hatred. When your community does a wrong, and if you do not say it is wrong, the Prophet said, it is communal hatred. On the basis of the Holy Quran, the Prophet taught us وَلَا تَسْتَوِي الْحَسَنَةُ وَلَا السَّيِّئَةُ ادْفَعْ بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ فَإِذَا الَّذِي بَيْنَكَ وَبَيْنَهُ عَدَاوَةٌ كَأَنَّهُ وَلِيٌّ حَمِيمٌ. Good and evil are not same. Never defend evil with evil. Defend evil with good. Then your bitter enemy will become your dearest friend. The great prophet said, if a Muslim kills a non-Muslim unnecessarily, the Muslim will not smell the fragrance of heaven. With this teaching, he taught us that how much the life of a Muslim is sacred. In the same way, the life of a non-Muslim is also sacred, and his life should be protected. The Prophet said, if you see an injustice, you should prevent it with your hands. If that's not possible, you should oppose it with your tongue. Even if that's not possible, you should at least hate that injustice in your heart. So all relevant laws, regulations and directions were given to us by our dear Prophet. Now we are living in a world where we think only about ourselves. When our dear parents depend on us at their old age, we are sending them to old age homes. In fact, it is a very cruel act. Our dear mother, who carried us for months, even after giving birth, spent sleepless nights and days for us. Our dear father, who loved and protected us financially also, when they depend on us, when they expect our loving words, we are sending them to old age homes where they lead a very lonely life. Visualizing this, the Holy Quran proclaimed 1400 years back, when your parents depend on you, you should never utter a word of contempt at their face. The Holy Quran says that you should lower your wings of mercy towards them and pray to Almighty God, O Allah, show mercy to our dear parents. Among parents, the Prophet always said, your mother deserves more love and respect. The Prophet said, Al-Jannatu tahta aqdamil ummahati. Paradise lies at the feet of your mother. That much importance the Prophet has given for the mother. The great Prophet has also given directions to the parents to look after their children properly, to give them beautiful names, not to discriminate among children, to feed, clothe, and educate their children according to their means. One certain villagers approached the Prophet and asked him, do you kiss your children? The Prophet answered, yes, I do. The villagers said, God promised we do not do that. The Prophet said, if God has removed mercy from your hearts, what can I do? The Prophet always advised his followers not to confine their love and affection in their hearts, but to show outwardly towards their children. How much relevant those teachings are. I happened to read an article. Once a person gave an expensive ribbon to a director of a company and asked him to give it to someone whom he loves most. The person came home, met his 9-year-old son. He said, son, a person gave me a ribbon and asked me to give it to someone whom I love most. I am a very busy man. I do not have much time to spend with you. But you should understand one thing. You are the person whom I love most. So I am giving this ribbon to you. The boy was shocked. Tears started running from his eyes. In the midst of weeping, he said, Dad, I thought you do not love me. I thought no one in this world loves me. And I was thinking of ending my life. Now I will never do that. A simple advice of our dear Prophet. How much relevant it is in this modern world.